you only live once is last game, or well, the games that I've seen, Denden has always been the mid hero, which may indicate that uh, I'm not sure. Like unless Denden is just a hero that likes to play Timbersaw and he's going in the off lane, we might see something weird.
Yeah, I gonna have to agree with that. I mean, Shadow Fiend with that Rubik and Abaddon is going to be a quite a strange lineup. Especially if they want to do that, I mean, it's not completely unheard of. If you get a few stacks going for Bacon, he can walk in, raise them, get a lot of souls and a lot of gold himself. But it will be a little bit strange to see where Denden will end up going. Um, and against a Magnus, do you think an Alchemist, I mean not an Alchemist, do you think the Timbersaw would be a wise choice?
Personally, not really. I mean, Timbersaw he doesn't really have it too much in terms of like the magic resistance. You know, his base armor is 0. And once he has his reactive, yeah, it's great against the right clicks, but Magnus is a hero that does a lot of damage from the shockwave spam, so Timbersaw not really going to be able to negate too much in that regard. I don't know, this Timbersaw mid, I think the Magnus will have the advantage at the very least.
And it seems like we should be getting an unpause very shortly. Yeah, there we go. So, if there's a trial lane, what do you think? How do you think the trial lane will work against? I mean, there's the possibility of that. There's the Abaddon Rubik +1 against the Jakiro, Nagastar, and Alchemist. I mean, by the looks of it, it does look like Clockblockers have that better trial lane potential, as those stuns and the damage output's quite high. But then, they show they can run a trial lane with the best of them, but they don't necessarily synergize as well as each other. If they do decide to put that Shadow Fiend down in bottom lane actually. So I'd like to see a lot of stacking coming out by YOLO. If they can get a lot of stacks and get the Shadow Fiend a lot of farm from those neutral creeps, I think Shadow Fiend is going to be a very potent hero to be up against in this mid game.
Yeah, that's very true. You know, it certainly helps Bacon stack up those souls very quickly. Um, I'm still quite, I don't know, it's still very strange in my opinion to sort of lanes like this. Shadowfiend's a great right-click hero, but he's very fragile, and you don't usually see him as your primary carry, um, just because just because of that, you know, being so fragile. And against a lineup from Clock Blocked, who have an Alchemist, Shadowfiend against Alchemist, it's gonna be tough. Alchemist can move in very quickly. He has that stun to set up, and I'm assuming later on he might grab something like a Basher, which is going to certainly hurt the side of you only live once. Even if they grab something like a very quick BKB on him, AP still works for that. You still get pushed in, and you don't take the damage, but I believe you still take the stun. So it's interesting, and we'll see exactly how they decide to play it out. I don't think that if they just let the Shadow Fiend farm, and have the Alchemist free farm as well, I don't think it's going to be enough.
One thing I do want to point out, Mr. Snicklefritz on this Darkseer, he's got the same build as he went last game. He's going to go into the jungle, I would presume, once again. Do you think this is a wise choice? Or do you really think he should be down trying to at least contest bottom lane a little bit? I mean, they don't have that killing potential as they always had. They've got a Rubik, the only hero that can lock down with a lift, and he can just surge himself away. But do you think it's wise for him to go into the jungle, or do you think he should try and contest this bottom lane?
The only thing is, can he really contest too much? I mean, he can stop the stacks and whatnot in the jungle area, but he can't really contest the Shadow Fiend in the actual lane. Shadow Fiend's range, the Iron Shell's not going to do anything. Um, I don't know. This way it ensures that no matter what, the Darkseer gets farm and he can get his mech up as quickly as possible. If he went down into the bottom lane, he could have tried to contest. I mean, it's possible that he could have, you know, successfully done it, but I don't know, I feel like it's a little bit more risky. Actually, Bounty took some great plays. Looks like he wants to block some of these camps with his illusions. Didn't get killed off though.
We might see him trying to walk in here and get that block off. He's actually the counterward's going down. They can see him here, They're just going to try and force him out of there. Nice Ice Puff coming down. They can still see him in this Rev Ward, but now he's out and the snare's out. They can still see him. Will he auto attack? No, he's just going to walk away. Some bounty hunters would get a little bit nervous and turn around and try and auto attack and completely ruin everything. However, Ruski, he's not an amateur bounty hunter. Oh, well, we're in an amateur cup, but he's playing not like an amateur bounty hunter. He's walking around trying to be as aggressive as possible, but his ward gets placed down, and it will be instantly counter ward. So that's a little bit unfortunate for Ruski right there. And now he's just going to try and be as much of a pain to Snickle Fritz as possible. Throws down a ward, blocks a camp, and they know he's just walked past there, and it's been warded. So we should see QTC walk over there very shortly to try and block counter that observer ward.
Yeah, I wouldn't be. I'd be surprised if they don't. I mean, they did split it out immediately, so actually he's not gonna go for it. He's gonna just wait until he stacks this camp first. But you know, Darkseid, he still has the other camps and whatnot. He doesn't need to take the easy camp. First off, he can just stack the others and whatnot and still get some farm.
Poor DJ Bass. He walked down trying to force Den into the tower. Went for the skewer, completely whiffed it. But he's got a bottle coming in on his way now. It's a nice bottle timing. Should be able to put a little bit of pressure onto that Timbersaw. Timbersaw did go for a very fast bottle himself as well. And in mid lane, they are fairly even on that creep score. So I can't really give either side the advantage there. And I think this Timbersaw might actually pay off quite well against this Magnus. I mean, as I said earlier, with that reactive armor, that just helps you sustain in the lane quite substantially. But Magnus, he's going to bottle up a haste himself, so it's going to be a fairly even lane in this mid lane. I can't see too much excitement coming here. Who do you think should be the team that makes the first rotation? YOLO once they hit that level 6 on the Bounty Hunter? Or do you think the supports of Clockblockers should try and start walking around and try and find possibly a kill on this Timbersaw?
The thing is, well, currently Timbersaw isn't leveling the Timber Chain high, so it's not like if he gets netted or anything, you know, in the middle of the river, he can just get out of there, as his thing is quite low range. So they could potentially try to jump on Den, or they could try to go for this Bounty Hunter still, if they, you know, the Sentry Ward is still spawning him out when he ever tries to block, and the blocking so far hasn't been going too well for him. Ruski will definitely rotate once he hits level 6. We saw him do the last game, and I suspect the same thing will happen. However, do see You Only Live Once being the first to rotate onto DJ base, who has to be careful here.
I mean, he's got his skewers on cooldown for 5 seconds, so they will definitely get a lift here. Do they have enough burst damage to take him down? There goes the Well and Dev, the really good blade. He's got a skewer, and he's going to get on out of this. That's very unfortunate for YOLO there that skewer wasn't on cooldown for a little bit longer, but I don't think they could have killed him. I mean, they took a lot of damage just by walking past that tower alone.
Yeah, definitely. Both Sick Nasty feed skills and Mugen were quite low. I don't know if Magnus had got a skewer on one of them and he also had mana for a shockwave, actually it would have been completely turned around.
And Bacon, he's doing well down this bottom lane. He's 20 for 15 up against the Alchemist, who's on the other side of the map for 16 for 2. So Bacon, showing he can play Shadowfin quite well. He's leveling up Razor's maxes. I'm not quite sure how I feel about him leveling up Razor's max at the moment. I mean, you got an absolute free farm, having those extra souls for the extra attack damage. Actually, on top lane, we have an initiation onto the Bounty Hunter. They throw out the dust. Do they have the stun? Stun's coming out. Ice Puff has already missed. They're going to throw out the Jewel Breath. They're going to try and auto-attack him down. Do they have enough damage? They do not. They're just going to force him out of that lane. A little bit unfortunate. If that Ice Puff has hit, we could have just seen the first blood gone in the favor of Clockblockers.
Yeah, I feel like that they popped the dust a little bit too late, or they should have popped it the moment they saw him, just so that way when he did invis it didn't matter, and they would have gotten a lot more right click on him. They would have had sight for a lot longer. The aim of abilities could have been a little bit better and whatnot in that regard, but nonetheless they do have to force they force his Bounty Hunter to play much more defensively, and he hasn't been doing it as well as he did last game, for example, by blocking camps and all that sort of stuff. So he's still doing decent. He's level 4 at the 5-minute mark, which isn't bad. He hasn't died, so it's gone well, but not as well as he was last game.
And there's Magnus on being played by DJ Bass. He's doing quite well. He's controlled the runes. I don't think he's missed a single rune this game, except for that first rune spawn, but that doesn't matter. He hasn't missed a rune while he's got this bottle, and that's been allowed him to sustain in this lane a little bit longer than possible. I mean, Timbersaw, he is level 6, however, and that's quite big up against this Magnus, who still doesn't have that RP. But he could be doing a lot worse off if he wasn't able to control these runes.
Magnus has RP now. He doesn't have the mana for it, but he has it. But yeah, I mean, I feel like the warding was a little bit weird here for YOLO Live 1. They got the bounty hunters to use observer wards to block the camps, which meant they had no vision of like anywhere on the map, which I felt hurt the. For example, as you can see now, Den doesn't know where the runes are, while DJ Bass obviously does, because of the help of that vision.
And Risky, he's getting ever so much closer to this track hill to this track level 6 at the moment. And Goten, he's not having the best of farming games at the moment. He's picked up the recipe for his Midas. He'll be picking up very shortly after the next few creep kills. If he can manage to secure him on next to this tower, he's just going to walk away. He's going to try and pick up a few of those neutral camps. Maybe. Yeah, I think the Darkseid's going to give it to him. He's going to be able to pick up that Midas very shortly. Just going to start helping him out. It's a late Midas by Alchemist standards. I mean, it's not bad by any means. An Alchemist usually picks up a Midas about the 5-minute mark, 5.5 minute mark. So it's about a minute and a half late. That is one Midas use already being missed out there. So that's 3 times XP and 180. And actually, the first blood going in middle.
Yeah, Den just doing a ton of damage with both his Welding Death and also the Chakram, just allowing him to get the kill on DJ Base, who was, he thought he was safe. He tried to secure out, but yeah, he just wasn't able to get away quickly enough. And that's an excellent pick off here by Den. Quite an important one too.
Not something you would expect, especially against the Magnus. Magnus might turn this back around. He's got an RP up and ready. He's got a Jakiro waiting on the sides. Jakiro might show himself. Ice Puff is going to land. RP should be used very shortly. RP into a skewer. He does have a shockwave. He doesn't have enough money. He's going to try and throw a bottle charger, but he's going to try and timber chain his way to the nearest tree. It will be enough. One more auto attack. It is more than enough. The kill will go to the Dire, so it will be shared amongst Magnus and Jakiro. I think Rubik's on the other team. Never mind that. But that's a nice counter kill, but I believe most of that was secured gold anyway. So Timbersaw's not going to lose much out of that trade anyway. Just a little bit of XP.
Yeah, I mean, it's still a nice pick off here, and it does give the extra gold to the Magnus and the Jakiro. And Magnus, it looks like he's going for the... Unless he picks up a Arcane Boots here, which he does. I was going to say you might just go straight for the Blink, but no, it does pick up an Arcane Boots, which is a good choice. I feel like, with the Arcane Boots, it helps you ensure that you always have enough mana for the Blink RP and follow-up combinations. But yeah, I mean, once he does have that Blink, it's going to be very dangerous here for the side of YOLO Live once, as just Blink RP, if you can land 2 free heroes, you can certainly turn the fight into your favor, and it should be relatively easy for them to set it up since I have this Naga Siren as well.
We have a bounty, Mr. Risky. He's walking around trying to find anything he can. He should be throwing out a track on DJ Bass very shortly. He's got to be quite careful. If DJ Bass or Bass wants to throw out too many shockwaves and doesn't bottle it up or have his Arcane Boots on the cooldown, he could easily die any second now. But he's just going to rotate out. They suspect something's up. The bounty hunter's now missing. They most likely would have seen that from their lane ward up at top lane, seeing him just disappear. Now Risky, he's going to find Snicklefits. Will he do much? There we go. He throws out the Janana. Shuriken, but he's not going to be able to pick off Snicklefits. Or he might actually. He doesn't have another Janata for 5 seconds. It's only level 1. He did max that Shuriken touch. And he's going in. He's not giving it up. TP support coming in from 2 heroes. Magnus and that Jakiro coming in. Skewer is going to miss. It's not going to land. And they're not going to find him. That's a little bit unfortunate. Jakiro just couldn't get that dust off in time. And they're throwing abilities around in every which direction, trying to hopefully land onto that Bounty Hunter. And Bounty Hunter pops a salve, pops a bottle, and now he's going to be looking to find another hero.
Yep, always got the kill there on the Darkseid, but was not able to finish him off there. It almost actually cost him his life though. He got quite low with the Magnus skewers and whatnot. Sorry, the Magnus shockwaves. We do see them then just going into the Rosh pit to buy his ring of health, I believe that was. Yep. And now Ruski is going to be picking up this double damage. He has a bottle himself, so he can deal a lot of damage, especially when he pops out of the invis with this.
And as I said at the start of the game, these supports on the side of YOLO are doing a very nice job. They've been stacking for Bacon this entire time. Bacon just cleaned up a double stack of an Alpha Wolf and Ogre. And actually in mid lane, do we see an initiation? They're going on QTC. QTC gets tracked up. He throws out the instant. Timbersaw comes through and just bursts that Naga sign straight down. Not even time for TP support. However, there is a Magnus. He's looking for blood. He's not going to be able to find it. No, he's not. Almost thought he was going to try and throw out an RP there, but not going to happen. It's actually quite useful. And once again, Jakiro just not being close enough to throw out that dust. If he was there either time, they would have had a kill on that bounty hunter. So the elusive bounty hunter survives another day.
Yeah, and the bounty hunter is going to be causing a lot of trouble now. I believe that was a track kill. Yeah, it was on the Naga Siren. So well, there's going to be a lot more of that, and it's certainly a hassle to deal with when you're. I mean, you have this Alchemist who's doing quite well. He's sitting at 4.8k net worth. They're pretty even compared to the Shadow Fiend as well, and they've actually taken the tier 2 tower with this as well. Didn't even realize they were pushing so far out.
Skewer and RP ready and waiting. Will we see the skewer into it? Ice Puff will land on Mugen. They're going to miss the skewer. That is harsh. And now the shield has popped onto Mugen. Mugen's going to keep trying to get on out of here. They're not going to have enough damage to take it out, but a little bit of misplay coming out by DJ Bassa. They miss out a kill on that Rubik, and they also lose the tier 2 bottom tower.
Yeah, that just hurts clock blocked here a lot. It's, you know, losing a tier 1 and tier 2 relatively quickly in early on in this game. It's only 12 minutes in, and especially when you haven't taken a tower of your own, plus missing out on a kill, it's harsh. At the very least, you know, they could have sort of salvaged that a little bit by getting that kill, but now it's looking tough here for clock block. They've still got the Alchemist is high in terms of net worth, particularly considering that the side of Unilive wants to take 2 towers, and the Shadow Fiend is about even with him. So he's still doing well. He's had this top lane free for a long time. He's going for an early Shadow Blade. He does have that Midas, but yeah, it's the net worth overall, if we have a look at the gold graph, is in favor of You Only Live Once. Experience, it's about 1.2k in You Only Live Once's favor, but that's not really too much. But yeah, it's a little bit harsher for clock block. They really want that advantage in gold.
And Timbersaw's going on to Goten up top lane. Does a lot of damage. The stun comes out 1, stun comes out 2, and Denden's just going to shrug that off. He's got 10 magic wands, which he will now pop. And yeah, Denden's not going to be dying. He's going to even look to go on Goten very shortly once again. He's wrapping around from behind this tower. He forces out the Ice Puff from Zero, so now Zero is completely without any kind of mana next to his name. He does have enough for another Ice Puff, but I don't think that'll be enough if Denden tries to do and go on to Goten. But luckily that passive regen from that Chemical Rage has been popped. In mid lane, they find a kill on that Naga Siren. TP from DJ Baz a little bit late, and that's another kill going in favor up at top lane. At the same time, we see Denden. He actually does decide to go onto that Alchemist, and he has turned towards Zero. Zero's in a lot of trouble. There goes the Chakram. Needs one well in death. He finds that well in death, and he's going to walk on out of there. So, kills all around the map. Denden finding a double kill in the most unlikely of places.
Yeah, I mean, that was right underneath the tier 1 tower in top, and is just by himself, taking on the Jakiro and an Alchemist. When your Timbersaw can do that this early on in the game, that's a big deal. He most likely will go for that Bloodstone very, very quickly, and he should have it very quickly. He's sitting on 1.5k now, but yeah, that's a very big deal. We can just see exactly how much trouble this Timbersaw is causing here for the side of clock blocked.
And not to mention, this is what happened in the last game. YOLO, they had these 4 heroes that could be anywhere on the map and do a lot for their team. And then you have the Shadow Fiend or their carry just sitting there, farming away, doing whatever the hell he likes to. And because he's been doing that, he's 6.5k net worth. He's higher than the Alchemist. Usually the Alchemist should be 3k gold ahead above everyone on the map. Instead, Shadow Fiend he's been doing great. And now up top lane, actually we have a double damage. Ruski destroying Zero, and Zero will fall with a few auto attacks and a lift from that Rubik. Now they're going to be going on to the tower. Chakram's been thrown out, doing a lot of damage to Nickel Fritz. Will we see Denden jump in on the tower? They've got more than enough damage here, and Denden is very tanky. Fadebolt's been thrown out, but they will force those 2 heroes off the tower. They should be able to pick up a tier 1 tower for free.
And this is, yeah, I mean, this is just very troublesome now for Clock Block. The Alchemist is going to have trouble farming, as, you know, none of the lanes are going to be safe enough. The jungle's not going to be safe, particularly when this top tier 1 tower falls, which I'm expecting is going
And
to be
actually, we
soon.
see initiation onto Fickle Fritz. We see
Fritz.
Den coming through, doing a lot of damage. Nickel Fritz is trying to get some of the sirens pop. They got TP support. RP is being pulled. Will he get all 3? He's in position for the 3. RP onto 2. Feed skills will get on out of there, but they've got enough damage to burst down one hero of that Rubik. Den trying to run away with all his health. They're turning back around. All the damage coming out. That's one hero down. Can they find the second one? That one has a track. DJ Bass is on the run. His Skewer is down for another 24 seconds. He's going to run out of there. Kuro should fall to the earn charges on the final auto attack of Risky, and that is 3 heroes dead. 4th hero is going to die very shortly. It's also another track kill. That is 3 track kills out of the 4 possible, and they don't even lose a single hero. Not to mention they will now pick up a tier 1 tower if they decide to auto attack it down. But I feel as if this tier 1 tower will be denied very shortly.
They actually did lose a Rubik there, with the help of the RP. So it was a 4-for-1 trade, but I mean, 4-for-1 when you've got a track on 3 heroes, 4 heroes maybe there, that's well in YOLO 1's favor. This tower will get denied just in time, but now this is just so much map position that YOLO 1's gain as well. They can just roam freely through this jungle, and they're not going to be contested unless Clock Block decide to roam as 5 and just basically hug the Alchemist the entire game, which is going to hurt them one way or another.
I love this ward coming out by YOLO. They can see any rotation. Then they just saw the ward come out by Zero. And Zero will land his Ice Path onto that bounty hunter. Bounty hunter's going to walk away. But they know there's a ward here. They're watching any movement through this jungle. And they saw 3 or 4 heroes walk through there before. That's why Risky was just walking in. And now they're going to be aggressive. But they're going to be spotted out by this ward, and they might get turned back around on. Goten's waiting in the wings. But he's going to sit behind his tier 2 tower. I don't think they even want to try and test underneath their tier 1 tower. They just don't have the ability at the moment. I mean, they had a pretty decent fight up top lane. You had your Song of the Siren, TP support of everyone, RP onto 2, just missing out the 3rd hero. Even if you had the RP onto the Abaddon, you wouldn't have been able to kill him due to his Borrowed Time, I believe it's called. Yeah, Borrowed Time. But now we will see a snare coming out onto Den. Nice vacuum in. We see an RP onto 3 heroes. 2 heroes, sorry. Alchemist will pick off that 1 hero. And then Den, he's in the background. He's trying to find whatever he can. Feed nasty skills. He's almost dead. No Baratine is taken down. The skewer, Shockwave will come through, and they will find 2 kills. 2 kills for that Naga Siren. It is worth it. But there's still a fight going on. They're chasing down Den. Den's going to get stunned very shortly by the Alchemist. Can he Timber's chain his way out of it. He's got no support, but he's so tanky. That reactive armor just keeping him alive. Vacuum back in. He's got to try and get out of it. He's up on the cliff. Do they have vision? Shadow Fiend. Bacon. He's finally made his appearance in this game. He picks off 1. Then Den picks off a kill up on that high ground. They're turning back around. Zero's in a lot of trouble. The catapult will finish off that 2-headed dragon. So now they're chasing down that final kill or free kill of Fritz. Fritz got a surge up in 6 seconds. Track is now up. Shuriken's coming out trying to slow him down with that mini stun. Nice and snare to holding Risky down. And I'm surprised Shadowfin didn't follow up with Risky, but he does decide to go mid lane, and they will get a tier 2 tower for it.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Yeah, that was, for a second it looked like, Clock Block there had the good engagement. They picked off 2 heroes relatively quickly there, but it was pretty much just turned around here, and you only once. It's just that Timbersaw on Den. He's playing amazing, and he's causing so much havoc here for Clock Block. I don't know what they can do against him. Like, they pretty much expended everything onto him, and he just pretty much walked on out of there.
And he got very lucky being able to get on that top of the hill. And being on top of that hill, he still managed to find a kill and survive. And now he's back up full health. He's got a Bloodstone, 11 charges. There's almost no way. They found the Alchemist in the jungle. Alchemist taking a lot of damage. Luckily, he's going to be able to Shadow Blade on out of there. There was Revelation down, but they had no lockdown at that current point. It was expended with that lift. But Timbersaw, he doesn't care. He's going on Snickle Fritz. Not enough damage with that Chakram, however. But now they're going to try and rotate top, get the final tier 2 tower. Maybe even wait for Clockblock to come back out, get a little bit out of position. And Risky, he's already trying to find another kill. And Goten, he's got to be careful. There's an entire YOLO side that's got to be on his tail. If this track goes off on him, this Alchemist will die.
Yeah, he has a Shadow Blade, but that track doesn't matter, because I can see.
There we go, track is up, lift is down, auto attacks, he's going to run the other direction, and he's just going to get away from the entire side of YOLO right there. That's a little bit peculiar.
Yeah, he was just like, yeah, no, I'm too good for this. I'm just gonna walk out. He's quite tanky though. He does have almost 1.5k health and a decent amount of armor. But yeah, I'm still surprised he was able to get out so easily.
I believe YOLO, they all expected him just to run down. They were just already run down there and just got absolutely juked by that Alchemist. And if Alchemist dies one more time, this could possibly be game. I mean, he's still got a minus. He's working towards his AC. He's got a stun channeling at the moment. He's going to stun himself in the middle of nowhere, underneath a ward, so the creeps are going to even beat him up. So that's insult to injury. But at least they know there's a revelation down. And they should be expecting that at the moment, as YOLO have been on top of the ball with their both observation and sentry wards around the map. I mean, they've got vision of bottom rune, vision all the way through the jungle, so they can see any movement coming out by clockblockers. And that's the story of the game for you. YOLO, they've just had the vision. Clockblockers, they've always been down on vision. At the moment, look at, they've got all these defensive wards, and these defensive wards aren't going to help them too much, especially the way and movement YOLO have been playing. They've always been dodging, they've always been going in unpredictable paths, finding pickoffs in every place imaginable. But they will now lose the bottom tier 1 tower, and now there's going to be TP spots coming top. This could be a problem. Song of the Siren, they're going to be set up, but this isn't good enough for the Magnus. They're going to be trying to line up an Ice Path. We see a blink in. He's going to find 2 heroes. Ice Path on 1. Nice BKB pop by Bacon. He's going to survive that. Macropie's out. Mugen will fall shortly after to the Timbersaw. There goes the Shadow Fiend. He's going to rip through the entire side of Clockblockers. That's 3 heroes down for a Rubik. They're going to be chasing down CBT. The Chakram will find it. Magnus did get on out of there, but that's 4 kills. That's a tier 2 tower. And that could possibly be game number 2 going to YOLO.
Yeah, it was a bit awkward. I mean, the siren, the song of the siren, I like that because it certainly, well, at the very least, it put YOLO in a position of like, we can't just engage as soon as they teleport in and pick them off one by one. But in the RP, it seemed like they weren't exactly sure on who they wanted to engage in. The RP hit on 2 sort of in the backlines. The Macropie pretty much missed everyone, and the only person that I did hit was Bacon, who had a BKB, so did no damage. The Ice Path was nice, but it just, yeah, it seemed like they were a little bit like, who do we exactly go on to? There wasn't, a vacuum to pull them all into one area, and there's still no wall up for Darkseer, which is hurting them quite a bit as well. Yeah, it was just a little bit, it seemed like they had the good start, and then they sort of were like, not too sure on what to engage on.
Man, not to take away from YOLO, but they had such fantastic position in YOLO. I mean, they're not keeping heroes together. They had two groups of 2 and a final hero in the middle of nowhere. And that just means Clockblockers, they cannot get those RPs they are looking for. Even with the Song of the Siren, as you said, they still could not set up what they needed. And Alchemist, he's going to pop that Shadow Blade. He's got the stun up. Abaddon's just hiding in the Roshan pit. He's going to be spotted out by now. And they're going to chase him down. They've got the ensnare. And they're just going to give up on him. They know that YOLO's coming in. They're coming in for the kill. Roshan's still beating down that Abaddon. Jakiro will be fall quite easily to that Bounty Hunter and that Shuriken toss. And there's next to nothing YOLO can do about it. They wanted to go on a hero then. And they saw the other heroes coming. And they just had to back. They can't take them head on head. And even Brewski, he's manning up against Goten at the moment. And that's not what you want. A Bounty Hunter wanting to try solo your Alchemist who's on the run, that is kind of unfavorable for Clockblockers. And actually we see a stun coming through. It lands onto Ruski, but they're very, very hesitant. Dust is popped, but they still gave away. A little bit of miscommunication there, or they were just scared of where YOLO were, but that's just Ruski. He's not going to be dying anytime soon. And speaking of not dying, he's 6 for 0 with 3 assists, and probably most of them would have been tracked easily.
I'm sure he's had more tracks as well. Tracks, of course, they don't count as assists. You actually still have to do damage. So there's certainly been more track kills than that as well. And now Alchemist, it looks like he's going to get picked off, unless he can just walk away like last time.
Not going to happen this time. And now they're going to be moving up into this tier 3, and there's just nothing. Like, even Darkseer still doesn't have that wall. If he had that wall, then they could have been doing a lot of damage in return by grabbing a Shadow Fiend illusion, but just not having that wall and that Darkseer being so heavily underleveled, it hurts. Especially, he's one of the heroes that needs the levels the most. And he just got stuck in the jungle and he's been chased. We got an RP onto 2 heroes. Then YOLO Bacon, he doesn't even care. He's popping his BKB. He pops his Requiem of Souls and fires kills all over the place. There's a double kill. He's going for the 3rd. He will not pick up the 3rd. Scumbag Bounty Hunter will find the 3rd kill. So Ruski will walk out of there. They've got 4 kills. They got a racks and they've got the game. So unfortunately for Clockblockers, they went 7-0 throughout their group stages. YOLO, however, they've played fantastic throughout this series. They will be moving on to the semi-finals in this tournament. And very well played by YOLO.
Yeah, they've certainly played it extremely well. You know, Clockblock, they weren't able to really capitalize on their team fight potential, which they did have. We're gonna see some continuous fights here, but I mean, the Clockblock, they're just running away in their own base. It's not looking good for them. There's no way they can defend this second racks. And once they have the double racks, they can't push out of the base, and there's nothing they can really do about it. But yeah, I mean, you only live once. They just play extremely well. That bounty hunter both games has really been paying off for.
A little bit strange there. We had the Song of the Siren popped up as soon as the stun was about to land. And we got a Skewer trying to land. And he gets all 3 people skewered. Timbersaw's like, no, he's just going to jump on out of there. Bacon's trying to find all the kills he can. He's auto-attacking for 230 damage. Ripping to shreds that Alchemist. But Abaddon will pick up his double kill of the game. And now DJ Bass will fall shortly after the Shadow Fiend. Now they dive in the fountain. Feed skills. He's getting all the health in the world. And he's just going to walk on. And there's the GGs. They are now called. And congratulations to YOLO for moving on to the semi-finals of the Amateur Weekend Cup September.
Thank you guys very much.